So today I just wanted to shoot a video about really the Smart Flex Fund and the thesis of the fund, why I do that, and then where we are right now, where we're going. So some of you may know that I've somewhat built the fund around some ideas that are in this book. Tony Robbins' Holy Grail. He admits early in the book the Holy Grail is something that Ray Dalio taught him to have 8 to 10, 12 different uncorrelated asset classes outside of Wall Street. And that's what we're building inside the fund. So, the fund is a flexible fund. You pick and choose what kind of assets you want. But I did this so that I could get a wide range of investments in my fund, and investors are riding along with me, and I love that. Right now, we happen to be private equity heavy, okay? So most people have very little exposure to private equity. If you don't know what that is in layman's terms, it's just owning businesses or pieces of businesses and businesses that you believe in, can understand. I love these just blue collar businesses. I had a run in with a plumber yesterday. Don't have to give you detail, but uh, unbelievable quote to do what was considered for me was simple work. I actually told the guy, I need to own a plumbing business. This is crazy. So anyway, great book to read. If you're looking for advanced investment, there's some things in here. We're doing everything in this book except one. One that he recommends is owning a piece of a sports team. So if you know anybody that's selling a piece of the Knoxville Smokies or a piece of a sports team, let me know and we'll put together an offer to get a piece of that. Right now, what's in the fund and what's open, some of you, a lot of you are in Project Henry. That's an NDA confidential investment. I can't say much more than that. It's a tech investment. It's about, 5 months from really, for lack of a better term, coming out of the closet on Wall Street. It's been built for the last 4 years, kind of privately. Tech investment that's going to, I think, and most investors think, is going to revolutionize the way we trade illiquid assets, the way we trade the very things that we're investing in. So if you're looking for a private equity investment in tech, we've got that. It's got a multiple type return. It's not just a little bit of return. There's no cash flow. When they sell this business is when the cash flow comes. So it's one of those home run bucket deals. And then we had Eastern Light come along. I was not expecting a second private equity deal, but Eastern Light is still open. We've almost raised $1 million for Eastern Light. If you don't know much about it, it has 14, 15, 16x potential. I think it will do better than that. Caleb Kilborn, he's the distiller of the year from 2023. 2023, Caleb Kilburn was the distiller of the year. People started calling him, wanting him to do new projects. Finally, he decided to go out on his own with someone else, and him and Cordell Lawrence actually are building Eastern Light. You need to look at that because the minimum for that's $25,000. You can take a little money from your home run bucket and potentially $350,000, $400,000 from that investment. That's a longer horizon investment. That's something you put in, and that's looking like 8 years. It could go longer. We don't know. You don't know with some of these. Now, with that being said, I want to tell you where we're headed. Let's talk. Let's write these down. First, we've got. If you don't know what Project Henry is, there's still time to get in that. They're late raising, I think, the last 3 to 5 million. Right now, Eastern Light is open. Okay, that one will be closing soon for sure. Where are we going? People have been asking me where are we going and what am I vetting right now. One that we've been vetting right now is I'll call it it's probably a private money debt fund. What these do, we've got to swing the pendulum back towards some asset-based things. These are asset-based as well, but especially Eastern Light. But this is just a lending fund, okay? These guys make hard money loans to house flippers and to builders who want to bring smaller projects out of the ground. So they'll do like a builder will come to them and say he wants to build 6 or 8 houses. They'll fund that. They'll give him uh, a couple $1 million to get those spec homes out of the ground. They do that across the Wichita, Kansas area and Denver, Colorado area. I've been vetting that with some friends for about a month now. And the reason we're kind of in a holding pattern is they actually closed their fund 2 and they're getting ready to open fund 3. I'll bring you more about that. This is looking like their returns, as these guys are getting better at their business, they're attracting more money. Unfortunately, that's driving down, but I think this looks like 16 to 18% net to investors. That means if you invest $100,000, this is quarterly. I think it's quarterly cash flow of $16,000 to $18,000 a year on $100,000 invested. Looks really good for somebody in retirement, approaching retirement, that's looking just for cash flow. That's asset based. There is a little bit of leverage involved in that, and that's what we're looking very closely at. These guys make a $250,000 loan. They have a big credit facility where they'll go get $125,000, and then they'll put that with $125,000 from us, so they're leveraged at about 50%. Anytime leverage is involved, there's a little bit of risk that we've got to make sure we manage. But really nice returns. Know several people who've been in this for the last year, and they're singing the praises. But this has only been in business about 2 or 3 years, so we're really looking at that. I had a really interesting lunch this week. Has anybody ever wanted to own a bank and purchase? It's real early. A bank purchase. Have you ever wanted to own the bank? I know we've all paid a lot of money and interest and fees to banks over the year. Over the years, I sat down and had lunch with a semi-retired bank executive, and one of his clients that he had worked with over the years came to him. He'd helped this guy do a lot of commercial real estate deals, seen behind the curtains of what he was doing, very successful investor. This man came to him, and his words were he felt like he was being led, spiritually, being led to purchase a bank. And that perked up my ears. We ended up talking for a while and then had lunch this week. I like this deal a lot. These are five. It's if you live in East Tennessee, especially in a little bit more Upper East Tennessee, you probably recognize the bank brand. They have 5 branches. They have 1 branch in East Knoxville and 4 other branches across that more eastern side of the state. I'm still vetting this, looking at the initial numbers. Never thought I would own a piece of a bank. Always thought that was for big check writers. We can get a piece of this. Their minimum is a little bit high, but we'll get there. But this looks like over a 5-year period of time, it looks like a 4x. Okay, in 5 years. So we would hold our bank stock. We would get dividends, quarterly dividends that would come in. It's hard to peg where those are going to be, but I'm excited about this. I think it's something different. Banks are heavily regulated. FDIC has to bless this deal, and they're not really buying a bank. They're not starting one from scratch. That would worry me. When you sit down, and I will, if we pursue this, I'll put this guy on video so you'll hear how many banks he's worked at, saved, fixed the loans. He knows what to look for. He knows what gets banks in trouble. He has relationships. So when they buy this 5-branch bank and they start adding maybe 2, 3, 4 more branches, and they get down to Chattanooga and they go into Middle Tennessee, he's got a Rolodex of people he can call. Those people instantly, when they come, they typically, bankers kind of obviously often bring their business with them, their relationships. So this is a $220 million bank, which means that's the assets they control. In order to get here, it would need to become a 650. So almost tripling the book of business, let's say, for the bank. And he's seen banks do this, and he's done it. So that excites me that we've got somebody that knows how to do it. We've got a investor who already has funded is going to fund half of it. So there's a lot of things to look at there, but that's where we're going. So if you're kind of wanting to know where we're going in the first quarter of the year, maybe into the second quarter, that's there. On the back burner, there's a few small things that I'm looking at. Some of you know that early, actually, the first thing that the Smart Flex Fund ever did was a marina deal. That opportunity is back, and so if you are intrigued by marinas, there's a second fund forming for that. The first one involves some Tennessee marinas. This one is going to be more around the Lake of the Ozarks and maybe Kentucky. So if you like marinas, respond to this email or this video, comment, let me know, reach out. I just need to know if I have a little bit of interest there. We can put a little money there. There's nothing to worry about as far as minimums. I've already broke the ice on that, and we have several $100,000 with them already. So if marina is something that you want to get involved with, I can make that happen. Um, there's a few other things. One of them is student loans to pilots. Um, I can do that as well. No real limit on that. It would need to make sense. Like I would need to at least have for both of these. It'd be good to have 2 or 3 people that want to do this, and at least maybe $100,000. But we can talk about that. I didn't realize this. It's really hard for pilots to get a student loan. These guys do it. They serve that market. It's a really high return, somewhere in the 15-16% range on money. We're just watching their default rate real carefully. Those are things you got to look at. So this is where we're going. Some of y'all have asked for this video. I'm going to try to do this a little more often. I haven't done it as much. Sometimes my deals just come out of the blue and surprise people. But this is what's on the horizon. None of it may it may fall through, but I want you to know where we're going. And these are deals that excite me right now. We are going to shift back towards some assets. So we're going to be looking again, maybe looking at a mobile home park this year, the actual mobile home park. Those that are in the mobile home transformation fund are enjoying probably the biggest checks that come into the fund every quarter or every month are the mobile home transformation fund. If you don't know about that one, I could probably get more money in that one, but it's harder, and it's a big accounting problem for me every month to figure out those distributions and get those in the right place. But it's really good. So anyway, I didn't want this video to be very long. This is your update where we're at. And any of these interest you, email me, text me, call me, reach out, let me know. And if there's something you really want me to look for this year, I'm looking at multifamily. I still don't think multifamily has run its course. I'm a little bit concerned about interest rates with what's going on with the Japan bonds. And somebody said, I heard that the Fed printed another like $900 billion yesterday or today and is going to buy back some bonds and debt, and that's not good. So if they're throwing more liquidity into the economy, rates are not going to come down much more. But we're watching all those things and trying to make smart investments. And you're welcome to join us and tag along. Why should you join us? Because when you join us, you help us get stronger. We get better economics. We can do the due diligence more together. Some of you I may have a former bank executive that wants to vet this deal with me on here. Reach out. I'll give you all the due diligence and we can dive in. This will be more than likely you'll have to sign an NDA on this bank because everything's so sensitive, but I'll throw you the numbers. You can look at it. We'll buy a bank together. So hope you have a great day today. This is where we're going. I hope you would consider joining us and be a part of where we're going together. Y'all take care.